Namaste, good evening and good morning to everybody. Welcome to another wonderful opportunity to listen to great Swaminijis and Swamis about Shankara and how Advaita has been shaping the world and how what is happening in the world could shape Advaita and Vedanta studies. Today, Swamini Brahmaprajnananda will be speaking about how technology can help and hinder the Vedanta pursuit. Swamini Brahmaprajnananda Saraswati does not require too much of introduction to many of the Advaita audience. She dedicated her life sharing the timeless teachings of Advaita Vedanta and Dharma. She conducts Vedanta courses, podcasts, retreats for groups in Mumbai. And for people all across the world, she is available online and she does various Zoom sessions. Her teachings seamlessly flow from the areas of self-growth to self-discovery. She is disciple of Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati, and she studied Vedanta and Sanskrutam as a full-time residential scholar for 3 years, and she is a part-time student of Swami Brahmavidananda. Swamini was a psychologist in the former life, and she led, and she was actually the country head for an international organization, and she impacted more than 15,000 street children on an annual basis. And you can learn more about that in the discoveratma.com, www.discoveratma.com. Swaminiji, we are all eagerly looking forward to hearing your speech. I will mute myself, both video and audio, so that you can be the person who will be presenting. Thank you. And you have about 45-50 minutes, and then we can take questions if they come in. I will read the questions to you. You can take it from there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dhanyavadaha. Today being Sankashti, let us invoke the grace of Ganapati so that whatever obstacles stand in the way of our Vedanta pursuit, may these be taken care of by Ganapati. Om Ganana Antva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavin Kavina Bhupamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvanduti Vesida Sadanam Om Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam. It's very nice to be speaking again at the Global Festival of Oneness, celebrating our Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya, whom we honor on a daily basis. And it's nice to be celebrating him for a full 1 month. So at the outset, we are using the power of technology and live streaming for this. And so one acknowledges and is grateful for the many technological advancements that are possible today. So I want to structure my talk in a way that we first speak about the nature of the Vedanta pursuit. In a traditional Gurukulam, what is the Sampradayika method that has been followed, which has withstood the onset of different technologies over the centuries? There is something very pristine and very robust about the Sampradayika method. And this is something that will help us to understand our Vedanta pursuit a little better. Also, the question of how technology might be hindering or helping my Vedanta pursuit will be best answered by you at the end of the talk, because I'm also going to be talking about 10 orientations that seep into our lives, much like the leaves of the tea bag percolate and permeate the hot waters that we are in. And so we want to be able to watch out for these orientations. I'm going to share my screen so we look at the Sampradayika method in that way. So our topic for today, how can technology help or hinder the Vedanta pursuit? First of all, Vedanta pursuit is a sacred pursuit. It is unlike any other pursuit, and it has been coming down to us from none other than Shiva as a teacher, Sri Dakshinamurti, to Bhagavan Veda Vyasa, to Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya, and so many other gurus, to Asmat Guru, my Guru, Swami, Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji. In the Sampradayika method, Vedanta is not a concept, because one concept can be negated by another. Vedanta is not a principle. There is no abstraction involved. Vedanta is not a theory to be practiced, because then it would render the Shabda Pramana inadequate. Vedanta is not a system. In the Sampradayika method, Vedanta is the reality that is you. And that's why this pursuit is so unique, that we have to learn how to learn. We cannot apply the same mode of learning that we are used to for any other subject in the world to the study of Vedanta. Why? Because it is praptasya praptihi. You are already gained, you are already accomplished, as though you are accomplishing the accomplished. So for dharma, artha, kama pursuits, I don't have something, let's say I don't have money. So there is a praptihi for me. It is a praptasya praptihi. So I try to gain money or a partner or punya because I don't have it. So the nature of that pursuit is very different. Whereas for Vedanta, the pursuit is praptasya praptihi. You are only discovering who you really are. And so through this sacred tradition of blessing, which we call the sampradaya, samyak pradhanam diyate iti sampradaya. So that which is completely given, and it can only be given because you are that Purnam, you are complete in and of yourself as consciousness. And that's why it can be given completely. Nothing is held back. So we have this blessing of the Bhashya by Jagadguru on the Prasthanatrayi, the Bhagavad Gita, the 10 Upanishads, and the Brahma Sutras. And Bhashya, while we translate as a commentary, really we must understand it to be the teaching tradition that has been written down. So some of the key features of the Sampradayika method are A, oral teaching by a living guru using the Shastra as a pramana. Atma vare shrotavyaha drashtavyaha. Atma is to be seen directly, immediately. And the word is shrotavyaha, pointing to Shravanam. Shravanam is not mere listening, because by that definition, even a rat can listen to what you are saying. Shravanam is Shadlinga Vichara, which the teacher does. I'm not going into the details of it. But from the standpoint of the student, it is systematic exposure to the teaching by spending time with the Guru in a class or in a Gurukulam or wherever else. It is not Atma Vare Patitavyaha. It is not that please read about the Atma. And even in Mundaka Upanishad, after you have examined life's experiences, Parikshalokan, Karmachitan, Brahmanaha, Nirveda Mayat, Nasti Krita Kritena, Guru Meva Bhigachet. Go to a Guru. You cannot say, oh, but you know, my Guru had his Mahasamadhi, but he is guiding me in my dreams. No. You have to go to a living Guru. You can, of course, continue to be inspired and revere your other Gurus that may have had their Mahasamadhi. So the Upanishad, knowing how brilliant the Vedic students are, does not say, learn the mantra, try to arouse your Kundalini Shakti, do pranayama, says go straight to a Guru. Why? Because the Guru uses the Shastra as a pramana. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. Now, Shankaracharya in his Bhashya very clearly says that although you may be brilliant in understanding Vedangas, you may be very good with memorization also, Shastrajnaha api swatantrena anveshanam na kuryat. Do not undertake independent inquiry into the Shastra. Of course, Shankaracharya mentions Shastra Acharya Upadeshat 35 times in the context of Samyak Darshanam, seeing clearly, clear vision, or wherever there is a reference to clarity or knowledge. So when we talk about using the Shastra as a pramana, this is what a Guru does. Pramakaranam iti pramanam. Pramana is a self-valid, independent means of knowledge. For seeing what is in front of me, I have to have Shraddha in my eyes. We may not use that kind of language, but I don't have a choice. I cannot say, oh, for a change, I think I would like to see with my ears. Doesn't work. For the world of sight, eyes are the pramana. For the knowledge of karma, punya papa, sukha dukkha, svarga, all the karma kanda, homa, yajna, mantra, yoga, tapas, etc., etc., and of course Vedanta, Shastra is our pramana, and it does not need validation by any other means of knowledge like perception or inference. The Guru wields the Shastra as a pramana, although the words are finite, but the infinite you is being pointed out. So you that is direct, immediate, not subject to perception, inference. And from that standard, because of the way in which the pramana is wielded, the words are adequate. Something more, which is that the Guru knows which method to use and when. because the context is very, very important in Vedanta learning. And so very seamlessly, the Guru will use all these different methods. The moment the student wants to veer towards becoming and struggling with samsara, the Guru will point out that the main problem, although you may be experiencing different kind of topical problems, the real problem is avidya, and the yatra of the jiva is from avidya to jnanam or vidya. The Guru will also use the method of na iti neti neti and anvaya vyatireka. So pointing out that which is invariable when everything else is changing, that is you. Tattvamasi, two pronouns, you are that. It's called Mahavakya, but it is a shortest statement. You know, if you're talking about the length of it, how is that to be unfolded? It's a Lakshana Vakya. Tat is pointing out to Ishvaratvam, is pointing to the Jiva. How that is to be unfolded, that is present in the Sampradayika method. They are not concepts. Then, as we hear a lot of things, a lot of resistance is good because it's coming from our previous orientations and certain questions we might have. So that becomes an opposing view, the Purva Paksha. During a traditional class, so many Purva Pakshas are raised and answered, taking a view and established position on the Shastra. And sometimes you may not have questions, but Shankaracharya himself will raise all the possible questions in the world and ensure that you have crystal clear clarity. And then in the use of the Shabda as a pramana, the Guru very deftly uses yukti, certain logic of cause and effect relationship to explain and unfold, and also anubhava, your direct recognition, such that you can say, yes, 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 that's true, aham brahmasmi. And most importantly, in the Bhashya for the 13th chapter, where Jagadguru is talking about how the Jagat is presented, that really the attributes of Jagat are mithya. So if there is mithya, then there is something that is satya. And he speaks about the method that is being used. Tatha hi sampradaya vidam vachanam adhyaropa apavadabhyam nishprapancham prapanchate iti. So this prapancha, which is fivefold, made of all these permutations, combinations of pancha mahabhuta, actually this nama rupa is to be seen as adhyaropa. And by seeing it as adhyaropa, by seeing it as nama rupa, not having a reality of its own, we have done apavada. Have we done apavada? No, no. Those who know the teaching tradition, Sampradaya Vedam, these are the words of the people who are in the Sampradaya. So in addition to all these things of using the Shastra as a pramana, there is a certain infrastructure that is very helpful for the assimilation of Vedanta, also referred to as adhikaritvam or a lifestyle. So the disposition of karma yoga for sadhana chatushtaya is a very important part of the sampradayika method. Life is all about relating, and we all want to have harmonious relationships. And here, Sanatana Dharma as well as Vedanta will highlight that we want to be able to have self-mastery in our kaushalam, in the way in which we offer our karma to our devatas, to our pitras, our ancestors, to the bhutas, the plants and animals, the environment, to our rishis, how we preserve the Vedic culture, and of course to the people around us, that we are always connected. And we honor our connection by offering whatever we can, yatha shakti, with reverence. Additionally, in our relations, all that we experience, all that we receive is all the way prasada. All this helps us for sadhana chatushtaya. Then another important aspect of the Sampradayika method is the Vedika lifestyle of connectedness, which I have referred to. And so it's not enough to just read a text or watch a YouTube video on Vedanta. We want to have these different things that I'm going to talk about further as an integral part of our life. So relating to devatas, participating in pujas and yajnas, which are very, very powerful, and we have to see and experience it to recognize why Veda is a pramana. Because how is it possible that by doing a yajna, you get a child? And I know of so many couples who tried IVF and it failed, and then they just did a Putra Kameshti Yajna and it worked beautifully. Just an example. Then how we take care of our health. Asana, pranayama, very important. You, of course, could be doing Tai Chi or doing some other kind of physical activity also. But since it's already there in the culture, some basic asanas, basic pranayamas are very helpful, and we have to see its power to really integrate it into our lifestyle. Then Vyakaranam. The bhashya is in Sanskrit, very simple Sanskrit actually. And so we want to be in time. If our pursuit is long term, we want to be able to pick up enough Vyakaranam, so the grammar, so that we are able to read the bhashya. Also, the beauty of Sanskrit is such that a lot of Arthaspuranam takes place as you read and listen. Japa, the mantra given by your guru, is a blessing, and you make it a greater blessing in your life by committing to a daily practice. These are all things that we do in the Gurukulam and Ashram, right? Then Stotra and Vedic chanting. It also definitely helps in memorization, but it allows the tongue to roll very nicely. Stotrams that have been composed by Jagadguru himself will bring tears to your eyes, just because of the literary composition and also the devotion that is there in the stotrams. Of course, Vedic chanting has a power and a beauty of its own. We can learn to give up only when we learn to give, only when we learn to do seva. So whatever be the cause that your heart resonates most with, in the Sampradayika method of learning Vedanta, if you are in a Gurukulam or if you attend a retreat or you are studying online, some seva, so that your heart expands, is very, very important, however busy you are. Then clarification of your own understanding. And so rather than gossip about lots of things and get more and more concerned about the politics dominate one's life, we can engage in constructive conversation with our like-minded fellow satsangis, ask doubts, rib each other, clarify, etc., etc. And it's amazing how much clarity one arrives at by this sangha. Vivikta Desha Sevitvam is a value mentioned in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, that you are able to take time off on your own, spend time with yourself, reflect on the teachings. This is very important, and one has to carve time out for this. Then being exposed to different kinds of meditation, from japa to all the way to Nididhyasana, where you see yourself as the meaning. Stay with that. I am the meaning of Purna. I am that conscious that is complete in and of itself. And yet I'm not referring to the body-mind. The body-mind is in me. I am the Atma. So dwelling on that, this needs to be guided by a guru. Then very important is that I may be exposed to Vedanta, but I need to share my understanding and make sure I'm on the right track. So one-to-one sessions with the guru for clarification and guidance are very, very important. There's no substitute for this. And all of these things that I mentioned in the Sampradayika method definitely contribute to the adhikaritvam of the person. So we are familiar with Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadama, Adi, and Mumukshutvam. So all these qualities that are very important for the Vedanta pursuit, our activities, and the way in which the Guru teaches using the Sampradaya, our adhikaritvam. And then in time, just as the river meets the ocean, to recognize that all that was there was only water, and these were just Nama Rupa interacting with each other. As we bring these different activities, a more sustained pursuit of Vedanta in our lives, in time, one can say, Aham Brahmasmi. Now, having spoken about the Sampradayika method, I will now talk about how technology can help and hinder. Of course, technology has been a great boon in all our lives. And here I'm going to limit the use of the word to internet usage for learning Vedanta through videos only. So as some of us have benefited, the internet and access to some of the knowledge can help us in one, learn stotras through memorization and also the tune. We can learn Sanskrit. 3, we can learn some basics of relaxation, basic meditation through a lot of apps, but they're only for basic steps. For advanced meditation, you need to be guided by a guru. 4th, you can access Vedanta classes and courses from anywhere in the world. 5th, we can access digital copies of some very rare Vedanta texts, also in regional languages. 6, virtual satsanga is possible. It's not always possible that we will have people around us who are equally interested in Vedanta like us. And so you can have communities across the world which are related to Vedanta and have certain discussions. Then, of course, podcasts, WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, Facebook groups, etc. These are all some tools which help to create some awareness and some learning. But mark my words, I'm calling it some. Now, technology has helped us in many ways. It has also infiltrated our lives and created certain orientations. So when I use the word orientation, I'm talking about a way of behaving, which kind of becomes like a default setting. And so at the next given opportunity, you will tend to behave in that way because it's become a pattern. It's like when water flows on stones. One would think, what's the big deal? The water cannot affect the stone is way too hard. But you allow the water to flow on that stone for a long, long time in a particular way, and then you have striations on that stone, certain patterns, and therefore the stones look very attractive, which are there on the riverbank, and we might pick it up as a souvenir from wherever we travel. So anyway, what I'm pointing out is that we need to be watchful to the orientations that are developing. because of technology in our lives. And we want to be alert, aware, and do course correction if required. So you please wear the shoe only if it fits. I'm going to talk about 10 orientations. The first one, orientation of distraction. Almost anyone I meet complains that the person is distracted. And I want to say this, if you are not committed to any one thing, you will be distracted by everything. I repeat, if you are not committed to any one thing, you will be distracted by everything. And so whether the pursuit is of artha or kama, or for that matter, Vedanta, if one is not committed, then there is enough in the world to distract you, and the notifications on the phone are more than enough. So we all know how focus is getting compromised, and no deep learning, no deep work can really take place. So the quality that is required, we have already seen in adhikaritvam, and I know I'm talking really basics, but it's very important to have a solid foundation, is samadhanam, chitta ekagrata. So if the orientation of distraction is there, then how will chitta ekagrata, basic qualification for Vedanta, how will that grow? And therefore it will render my Vedanta pursuit ineffective, something to pay attention to. The second one is orientation of FOMO. Okay, FOMO, fear of missing out. So when we look at YouTube with videos, and of course, because of the algorithm and autoplay functions, so they're all popping out, or people are sending things to you. Oh, I have to do Brahma Sutras. Oh, I also have to do Jivan Mukti Viveka. Oh, I also have to do Advaita Siddhi. So people will look at a lot because there is fear, anxiety of missing out, but there is no systematic study, something you hear, and every guru emphasizes something more than the other according to the group, and then we make a mishmash of things. I'm pointing this out because we have a reverential duty to preserve the Sampradayika method. And if the people who are learning Vedanta don't deal with this orientation, then the Sampradayika method will be compromised, and we will not allow that. So FOMO, fear of missing out, interferes with our Shama, Mano Nigraha, mastery of the mind, because again, it distracts, and that the next new shiny object, which is in the form of this YouTube video, is beckoning me and my attention, and I don't have the time or the effort to delve into depth. The third is the orientation of busyness. So busy is a badge of honor we all wear. In my view, if you are so busy you don't have time for your life priorities, then you are lazy. Yeah, because you have not spent time to articulate what your life priorities are, and therefore you are not able to allocate the time that is required for what is most important to you. So there is something which is necessary, and there is something which is nice to do, and then there is something which at some point in time I would like to do. But the urgency of all the barrage that comes to us, we get overwhelmed by it, because if we do not articulate and live by our life's priorities, then invariably we will be forced to live by somebody else's priorities. So here, there is no vyavasayatmika buddhihi. Viveka is not there. Bhagavan Krishna reminds us, vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kuru nandana bahushakha yanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. For the one who is not discriminating, who doesn't have enough understanding, bahushakha, in the world of spirituality, there's lots that you can do, and it's many branch, it's innumerable. But when it comes to moksha, ekaha buddhi, Vyavasaya is not profession. Vyavasayatmika, nishchayatmika. Well-ascertained understanding that the real problem in my life is avidya. While there might be topical problems that I have to deal with, everyone has to deal with. And the nature of the pursuit is moving from avidya to vidya. That much vyavasayatmika buddhi is important. The orientation of multitasking. Now this interferes with dhamma. So chakshuradi bahya indriya nigraha. So your mastery of how you use your sense organs, etc. As we speak, it's quite likely that somebody will be eating and talking and walking and something else. So modern living has seduced us into thinking that we have to get the most out of every minute, and that is best achieved by multitasking. And now newer research is showing us that we are not achieving much by being by multitasking all the time. Yes, for routine tasks, yes, one can multitask, but not for Vedanta. So if I have the orientation of multitasking, I will bring that even into the Vedanta pursuit. Fifth one, the orientation of I can figure it out. So this interferes with Shraddha. Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Vishwasaha iti Shraddha. There is a resistance to a guru because I can figure out everything at the click of a button. Whatever I want is available to me. So this orientation of I can figure it out, do not apply this to the Vedanta pursuit. And the Shraddha grows in time. So just like you might enroll into a music or a dance class, knowing that, you check the lineage of the guru and you say, well, their chances are good. I have to try it out. I will see if it works. That much working trust is good enough. The sixth one, orientation of no accountability. People binge watch videos. And I'm not talking Netflix, even Vedanta videos, because it's entertainment also. But Vedanta learning is a sacred pursuit. It is not one way, it is a dialogue. And therefore, we want to be able to be in touch with the person to clarify our questions and also ensure that we are on the right track. So if the person wants to hide, and not approach a teacher and learn from far, the person is not going to go too far. 7, the orientation of feel good all the time. If you watch anyone, maybe oneself, suppose you're scrolling, okay, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever app, yeah, and the speed at which it works, what do? If we like something, we spend some time, maybe a few more seconds. If we don't like it, we move. Now, what this is doing is it is strengthening our raga dvesha. Because now I'm used to pandering to my raga dvesha through scrolling, clicking. And this orientation then extends to the Vedanta pursuit also. Indriyasyendriyasyarthe ragadveshau vyavastitau tayor navashamagachet tau hyasya paripanthinau. The Guru is talking about relationships. Raga, nice. The Guru is talking about doing seva. I don't want to do that. Dvesha, I'm not going to listen. Okay. So it's okay to scroll on the phone, that's fine. But I'm talking about how when we use technology and we repeat a habit again and again, there is neural activity, there is neuroplasticity, a pattern is being formed, it becomes a part of our behavior, and then it percolates into all areas of our lives. I've seen a 2-year-old child. He was given a cup, okay, in which there was milk, a new cup, So, and there was an image on the cup. So he held the cup and he tried to swipe it. I was shocked. There's no difference between what is virtually observed and what seemingly real. Of course, it's virtual. Virtual has now become an extension of reality. It's no more virtual and real. But this was shocking to me, that he actually swiped the image because he wanted to change it. And so we want to be alert to how we are pandering to raga dveshas, because that's basic foundation to be able to deal with that through karma yoga buddhi. And if we have this orientation, our Vedanta pursuit will be affected. Then the orientation of a buffet approach. It's great to have a fantastic spread of Thai and Italian and Japanese and Northern Indian and Southern Indian, different kinds of food. It's fantastic. You can pick and choose what you want given your dietary restrictions. But again, that orientation, if it comes into the Vedanta pursuit, then you are only looking for what is the sattvic recipe I want to cook. And if that guru is not talking about it, cancel, gone. Okay. Then the ninth one is the orientation of convenience. So because everything from a toothpick to a washing machine to a laptop is being delivered at home, convenience has become the criteria for everything, including learning. So you announce Vedanta online, there will be a lot of takers. Vedanta offline, very few. Why? It's not convenient, But I thought you wanted to learn. No. I mean, you've not articulated it, but convenience has become the criteria. And then what titiksha are we talking about? What sahishnutvam are we talking about, which is a qualification for Vedanta, that you are able to deal with some inconveniences. And the final orientation, which is the orientation of wanting to be a guru. Because of a lot of access to recordings and our pressure to be famous, a lot of people want to be a mini guru. So they will make copious notes and they will present it like a teacher does. This is different from having a study group and a discussion which is private and so on. And the person has not gone into any depth, has not learned with a guru, but is self-proclaimed. And here we will do well to remember Swami Chinmayananji's words. If what you hear through your ears does not sink into your heart, it will leak through the mouth. And so these are the 10 orientations that we want to be alert to. Technology is a great boon for us, but we want to be a master of technology by using technology to serve us rather than the other way around. So how might we do that? Well, we have this wonderful Ratha Kalpana. So Kathopanishad presents the imagery of the Jivatma to be a chariot, a Ratha. In this Jiva Yatra from Avidya to Vidya, the Jiva wants to make this journey. So to get from one place to another, obviously we need a competent vehicle. So Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi Shariram Rathamevatu Buddhim tu Sarathim Vidhi Manaf Pragrahamevacha. Know that the Jivatma, so Atma that is associated with the body and mind, therefore Jivatma, not Jivatma, Paramatma are two entities, okay? So mistake. Know that Jivatma is the master of the chariot. The Shariram, the physical body, is actually the chariot. The Buddhi is the charioteer, the driver. And the Manaha are the reins. So the mind are the reins of the horses. Indriyani hayanahuhu vishayasteshu gocharan atmendriya mano yuktam bhokta ityahur manishinaha. So this conglomeration of the Jivatma, the physical body, the intellect, the mind, and the sense organs, which are like horses, 5 horses. And they are moving around in the world of sense objects, Vishayan. So these are the different paths. So there is a path for sight and sound, fragrance, taste, smell, etc., touch. What do the Manishinaha declare, the wise people? That it is this entity that is the Bhokta, the experience. Okay, that's fine. Now, so what about it? But yastu vijnanavan bhavati ayuktena manasa sada tasyendriyanya vashyani drishtashva iva sarathehe. Suppose there is someone who is avijnanavan, the one who is sitting on the chariot, the driver, okay, in whose reins the mind, okay, so in whose reins the horses are. Suppose the person doesn't know where to go. He is distracted, all those orientations I spoke about, all that plagues the person. Therefore, if the reins are too loose, the horses will take him for a ride, okay? You're not clear that you want to get to place B. So the horses will say, you know what, this is also very exciting, that's also very exciting. Oh, I'm so busy, work calls me, and this calls me, that calls me, etc., etc. There's no clarity. And the horses are doing their job. They are just reporting data to you. So it is ayuktaha. The person is ayuktaha, not disciplined, not together. And so the horses will take him for a ride. If the reins are too tight, then, oh, I want to have vairagya, I'm not going to interact with the world, etc. You cannot operate out of fear. The horses will not go. You will not be able to enjoy the world, because the life is a blessing. So the horses will decide, Netflix will decide, YouTube will decide, if you don't decide, okay? On the other hand, yastu vijnanavan bhavati yuktena manasa sada tasyendriyani vashyani sadashva iva sarathe. On the other hand, if you are the master, and this buddhi has been purified with shraddha, with adhikaritvam, and with the words of the Guru, with the Shastra as a pramana, then definitely Vijnana Sarithis Tastu Manav Pragrahavanaraha Sodvanav Paramapnoti Tad Vishnov Paramam Padam. You will definitely attain Vishnu. Vyapnoti iti Vishnu. So you will see that you are Vishnu, that all-pervasive reality. Why? Because this limited time on earth, this Manushyatvam, given that you had Mumukshutvam, given that you had Mahapurusha Samshraya, you sought refuge, and you prepared yourself well, then the pursuit is clear, the nature of the pursuit is clear, the qualifications are clear, and you are progressing in the pursuit. So all the way, Antakarna Shuddhi and Antakarna Naishchalyam are taken care of by the Sampradayika method. If we try to study Vedanta textually, then some of the features of the Sampradayika method that I mentioned will be absent. And it would be unfortunate that one will take it out on oneself and say, why am I not progressing in my understanding and so on. So it's important to have the humility to find someone with whom you resonate, and so that you are able to study systematically. So the jiva can definitely say Aham Brahmasmi. Now the thing is that everybody wants moksha, but there is a difference between willing and wanting. Are we willing to do what it takes? Because that will make the difference. And so I'm guessing that you would have already answered the question, is technology helping or hindering my Vedanta pursuit? When one looks at what the Sampradayika method of teaching Vedanta involves, the orientations one may have, some of it, lot of it, none of it, and be assured that I'm on the right track, The blessings of the tradition are available to us. So in addition to wanting, we must be willing to do whatever it takes so that we offer our pranams to the Sampradaya all the way, and we honor them by bringing the method into our lives, by living the vision of oneness. Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat. Wonderful talk, Swamini. I think you really brought various ways of learning, various advantages and disadvantages. So technology is our friend and technology is also our foe if we are not paying attention to. And there is a question one Christian has brought in, saying, how does a student discern the difference between an Acharya who may be sattvic and well-read, but still ignorant, and an Acharya who is self-realized? Are there living gurus you can point to, as most teachers only point to historical teachers?
Yeah. See, anything I say will be information. What I will suggest to you is that there are many teachers. Check if they belong to a sampradaya and listen to them, get in touch with them, clarify your question, see if you are able to resonate with them. Also see that you need to be a little uncomfortable with them, because the point is you may be seeking validation, but you don't know that. And so if the guru challenges you, then you'll say, oh, this one is also off my list. So I would say try, okay, experiment, listen to a few, engage with them one-to-one, and then decide. You know, a lot of people say, oh, I will learn only if Bhagavan Krishna teaches me. My question to them is, are you Arjuna? Or they will say, oh, Ramana Maharshi did not have a guru. Well, did you spend 12 years in a cave meditating, let alone 12 hours? So we don't look at our own qualification, but we are in a rush to evaluate and judge without actually giving a little time and attention to have just working trust. So Sanskrit, I would recommend to people who are in it for the long haul. Okay. I would say that you expose yourself to the knowledge for at least 2 years or something like that. You know, for you to really have that Purushatvika Nishchaya. Because initially when we go for Vedanta, we may want to improve our relationships. Nothing wrong with that. It's great. But these are all fringe benefits. We want to be more effective in our work. We want to manage our time well, etc., etc. And then once that need is lost, and if we have not discerned the real human problem, then the pursuit is abandoned. So if you start learning Sanskrit, it requires a lot of repetition, lot of hard work, lot of homework. And the vision is that you are free. Okay, whether it is spoken in Sanskrit or Swahili, it doesn't make a difference. Yes, we revere the language, and yes, it's important only for people who are in it for the long-term pursuit. Initially, for the vision, it can be communicated in any language.
Thank you, Swamini. There is one simple question which somebody is also asking, saying, what is that perfect translation for orientation? Of course, I'm surprised. Normally, people ask from Sanskrutam to English, but here it's an answer, a different thing. Orientation, tendency, vritti. This is the question that has come.
Yeah, it's a pattern. You know, it's like, suppose you set your washing machine, okay?
Yeah.
Suppose it's set to fuzzy, okay? Yeah. It's a default setting. Whether you are putting 5 clothes or 15, it's that orientation, that tendency, that approach, that whatever it is, it will be fuzzy, you know? Mm-hmm. And so it's a pattern that if it becomes an important part of our character, then you bring that approach to everything. It's like they say, when all that you have is a hammer, whatever you will see only nails.
Nails.
Right? So I can figure out everything is my orientation. Of course, I can figure out everything, including the Vedanta teacher, including the Vedanta pursuit, everything. You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. And so another question which comes about is, do we need to learn Sanskrutam? How important is Sanskrutam in making
I answered that. In a long-term pursuit, it's important.
It's long-term pursuit, it's
yes.
important. Okay. I would say more as a Samskrita Bharati person, but I'll agree with what you are saying.
Yeah.
Okay. The one comment which another person is making is, while tradition is to be respected, don't you think the teachers also need to change their methodology of teaching to show the seeker the truth in his own anubhava based on life, rather than simply quoting texts?
Yeah.
The verbal testimony versus pratyakya pramana, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know what this verbal testimony is. It is pramana, and pramana, let's stick with that word. Because it is the words, it is Bhagavad Shabda, it is words of Bhagavan revealed to the rishis.
Right.
So, do I know enough about the methodology to question the methodology? Will be my counter question to you. Okay. See, every guru, Acharya has devoted certain time, energy, attention, perhaps their life to this knowledge. And for whatever reason, they are emphasizing certain things depending on the groups that are available to them. I know if I'm teaching Sannyasis, it will be very different compared to how I'm teaching Grahasthas. The truth will not change. The truth will not be diluted. The truth will not be dumbed down, but the context in which it is held will be different. And so we need to have first adhikaritvam to understand the Vedanta pursuit, be exposed to it adequately, for us to then question if the methodology works or not, or if they need to change. You focus on your learning. You know, I don't think we have the adhikaritvam to comment on the methodology of a guru if I don't even have enough rootedness in the tradition.
And also, you addressed it earlier, Swamini. You talked about when you brought from the Nyayadarshanam, the Pratyakya Pramanam, Anumana Pramanam, Shabda Pramanam, I think is the last. That is what I think is the verbal testimony that they are looking at.
Yes.
Of course, in between there is a Upamana Pramanam. And if we go to Upalabdhi, Anupalabdhi, and some of them also we can go. But I think the question pretty much says Pratyakya Pramanam versus Shabda Pramanam.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have addressed
it's like
it
this, right? That
yeah.
How do you know that if you do the right thing, you will get punya? How do you know? Pratyaksham will not show you that. No chance.
Correct.
Modern science will not tell you this.
That's right.
So we have to rely on something that reveals this to us, which has come to us from Bhagavan, and we see it to be true. All of us, we say, oh, I don't know what Veda is, but Punya Papa, yes. Sukha Dukkha, yes. Swarga, yes. Rituals, yes. You know, the karma phala that comes from that.
Right.
Yeah. So I think I've answered this. How to select a guru? You try. Try. You know, go to a few and then see. You know, ask your questions and see how you work. Jagadguru is, sorry, you go ahead and ask me the question. I was just.
No, go ahead.
No, please. You can pick and choose. Yeah.
Yeah. The term Jagadguru, especially recently, there has been a comment by one Vaishnavite Swami in Andhra Pradesh, Chinnaji R. Swami, who said because, you know, Jagadguru word is being overused and there are controversies. So here he is asking, you use the term Jagadguru. Is Jagadguru a misnomer if Guru is a mantravit, or that might steer the seeker from being an Atmavit? So how would you address that?
See, you can have, there can be many Jagadgurus. because for every time and age, there will be avatars. I'm not talking about Dasha avatars, certain manifestations that help humanity. And I don't want to get into any controversy. For me, Adi Shankaracharya is Jagadguru. For a lot of us, he is. I don't think it takes away from you calling anyone else Jagadguru. So, and in the Sampradaya, this is how we look at it, and I follow that tradition.
That makes a lot of sense. On that note, thank you very much, Swaminiji, for really bringing in the Nitya Nutana with Sanatana and made a perfect sense how our traditional Sampradayaka approaches are still relevant. And in this attention deficit economy, the most powerful thing is to bring attention, and that's what Vedanta brings. We can use all the technology, but we need to go back to the whole idea of Vedanta and how this can make a difference. Very beautifully said.
Thank you so much. It was lovely to be with all of you.
Thank you very much. So namaste. And we will now conclude this particular session. And tomorrow morning, there is one more session. Obviously, in the month-long part of it, we are in the middle of it. Tomorrow, Swami Nikhilananda Saraswati will address the topic Turiya as per Mandukya Upanishad. Please feel free to join, and we hope you bring your friends as well, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. Hari Om.